Am I the a-hole for laughing in my mom's face when she said my stepsister planned my 18th birthday? Let's see what it's all about. A little background. My mom and dad separated when I was 6 and each went their separate ways. Of course, they had joint custody of me, but they both started new families. When I was 9, my mom married a man, let's call him Robert, who already had a daughter, let's call her Kara, who was 2 years older than me. My dad got engaged when I was 8 to a wonderful woman, let's call her Layla, who he married when I was 12. My relationship with Layla is beautiful. She has truly been a mother to me. She basically helped my dad raise me. She takes an interest in my life. She comforts me. She gives me advice. We have common interests and we do many activities together. She and I recently talked about the possibility of having her legally adopt me as soon as I come of age. Doing so now would be a bit messy legally because of my parents' joint custody. Because for me, she is my real mother and I want it to be official. My relationship with my bio mom, on the other hand, is almost non-existent. Even though I was forced to spend specific days with her, we never managed to bond because she spent all her time giving attention and affection to Kara, who already have her own mother. Even when she tried to involve me in some activity, she always included Kara, and we had to do only what Kara wants. At a certain point, I started to decline her invitations and often asked if I could avoid going to her on the set days because I almost always get ignored or left aside, and I prefer to stay at home with my father and Layla. My father always tries to understand me, but he also had to honor the rules set by the judge. When I got more mature, he admitted that he was afraid that my mom might make some mean move in court if he agreed to not let me go to her on appointed days. Yeah, this is something my mom would do. After knowing this, I understood my father's reason and I absolutely don't want to get him in trouble. So I didn't make such requests anymore and I respected my schedule. Now, get to the point. In 2 weeks, I finally turned 18. I was lucky because my birthday falls on a day I have to stay with my dad, so he, Layla, and I started planning my birthday a month ago. It will be nothing too crazy, just a party with family and friends at my favorite pizza place. It's going to be a casual night where I just want to have fun with the people I care about and do what I like. The place also has karaoke and I love singing. Of course, after booking and setting everything up, we sent out the invitation and this extended to my mother as well. Honestly, I didn't really want her there, but then I thought this would actually be the last time I was forced to be involved with her because once I turn 18, I won't be forced to follow the judge's rules anymore. So we sent out invitations 2 days ago and we already had almost all the answers, so we could organize the precise number to send to the pizza place. The only thing missing was my mother, who saw the text and did not respond. I told my father that I would not insist, and if she did not respond, then it meant she did not want to come, and I was fine with that. I think my father was also a little relieved by the idea, even if he didn't say it openly, but I could see it on his face. Anyways, the drama started this afternoon. My mother called me very angry, accusing me of being childish and I shouldn't have planned anything without telling her first. This left me a little confused, and I reminded her that I always plan all my birthdays with my dad and Layla. Most of the time, she didn't even remember, so complaining now was quite hypocritical. That made her even angrier and started attacking me because Kira had been crying ever since I sent the invitation to my mother because she had already planned a whole birthday party for me. And I was really speechless because the relationship between me and Kira is zero. She is a classic spoiled brat who always wants to be the center of attention, and my mother has been always supporting this behavior of hers, making it worse. And clearly, she and I have never gotten along. I just didn't understand why the hell Kara wanted to organize a birthday party for me. It just didn't make sense. I asked her why she did it and especially why she did it without telling me. I mean, she didn't really think I wouldn't make any plans for my 18th birthday, right? It was ridiculous. My mother said it was supposed to be a surprise, and since I didn't tell her about my plans, she thought I didn't want to do anything for my birthday. I mean, she could have asked, right? But here comes the worst part, and I admit, the one that made me lose my cool. My mother started listing all the things Kara had prepared for my party, maybe to rub in my face what I would have missed. And they were all Kara's favorite activities, things that I didn't like. She had booked a fish restaurant for lunch, and I don't eat fish. Not because of some whim, but because it makes me feel sick. Just smelling fish makes me feel nauseous. I'm not allergic. I had it checked out. My body simply rejects it. She also booked an afternoon activity at a ranch near the city where my mother now lives, where you can ride horses, and well, I don't like it. I have nothing against horses in particular, but the idea of riding one or getting really close to an animal that big scares me. Then she thought about going back to my mom's house for a backyard barbecue for dinner, and I just don't want to do that because I don't want to spend more time with my mom than I have to. My mother also said they had already sent out invitations to everyone, and at that point, I was really speechless. But I had to ask her who she had sent them to because my friends, my dad, and his family hadn't received anything. It turns out that at the party was the mostly invited to Robert's family, my mom's family, and Kara's friend. I mean, it was basically a party organized by Kara for herself under the guise that it was for my birthday. So I didn't hold back anymore. I laughed in my mother's face and hung up the phone. It was all too ridiculous to be true. Come on. My dad came to me a little while ago saying that my mom called him mad because I laughed in her face when she told me about the party they had organized for me, and he was very upset about it. He was starting to say that despite all the feelings I have for my mom, they were trying to do a nice thing for once. But I stopped him right away and explained in details how the party had been organized, a detail my mom apparently left out with him. His expression changed quickly. He just said, "I'm going to make a phone call." And I've been hearing him yelling at my mother for at least 20 minutes by now. Layla came to me after learning about the situation and said that as much as she could relate to me, I was a little rude to laugh in my mother's face and hang up without explaining. For her, I should have spoken out like an adult despite my feelings and sorted out in a civil and mature way. She wasn't angry, just a bit disappointed about how I acted. As soon as she left, I thought about my actions and maybe I was a little hasty, but I don't think talking to my mom about it would have helped, honestly. But maybe I could have handled it better. I'm starting to think I was a bit of an a-hole in that moment. OP, my personal opinion, you did nothing wrong. And it's clearly written that Kara is just a selfish, entitled, spoiled little brat who wanted a party under the guise for your birthday. Yeah, right. She just wanted to have a party herself. And you were right. Especially when you found out like who was being invited. It was her friends, her family members, and your mom's family. Nothing to do with your dad's side or even your friends. Does that even make sense? Like seriously, this mom is being ridiculous. She makes it sound like Kira is her daughter and OP is just there. I mean, basically, she is not a mom to you at all, just like you have said. And it really does sound like Layla is truly the mother to you because she has taught you well to deal with this in a more mature way. Sounds like Layla took the time to get to really know you and didn't push you or pressure you into having a relationship with her. It sounds great. And, she's also taught you how to react to certain situations too. And, I'm really happy that you had a discussion with Layla about making it official of having her as your mom because it sounds like your bio mom is not even your bio mom. She's just the birth giver, basically. She has no relationship to you. She doesn't know anything about you, especially the whole fish thing. I mean, come on. If the mom knows that OP is allergic, well, not allergic to fish, but doesn't like fish, but then Kara plans a meal at a seafood restaurant or a fish restaurant, really? Like, this mom is just just going along with whatever the stepdaughter wants, Kara. It's just ridiculous. This is just, it's just unbelievable. I mean, I can't believe the entitlement of this mom too. Thinking that like, oh, you didn't speak to me about about your birthday party. Hello, she's 18, and she's also clearly written that she's planned her birthday party, and she sent out an invitation to her birthday party that she planned herself along with her dad and her stepmom Layla. She extended an olive branch to you, OP's mom, bio mom. My goodness, I'm just speechless at this point. But let's see what the comment section have to say. First commenter says, not the a-hole. You laugh because the absurdity hit comedy gold levels. Your stepsister planning a party that's literally an anti-you festival under the guise of your birthday? That's sitcom material. You're not obligated to feign gratitude for something that was clearly not meant for you. If anything, your reaction might finally get through to them that you're not just a side character in their family narrative. Keep your birthday plans with your dad and Layla, and enjoy turning 18 with people who actually pay attention to what makes you happy. I totally agree. Another commenter says, I was a little rude to laugh in my mother's face and hung up without explaining. For her, I should have spoken like an adult despite my feeling and sorted out in a civil and mature manner. In order to be mature and adult-like, you do not need to be prim and proper, considerate, and civil at all. Being those things all the time in actuality likely means you're a doormat. Basic respect should be given to others automatically, but if they disrespect you, then it's off the table and needs to be earned back. OP, your mom lost the right to have you treat her civilly. You do not owe her an explanation. You do not owe her maturity. You do not owe her kindness. You do not owe her respect. She has not shown you an ounce of those things since at least the last decade of your life. For the first time in your life, you aren't required to cater to your egg donors or your stepsister's feelings and wants. By laughing in her face and hanging up, you show her, 1, you won't tolerate her or stepsister's crap anymore. 2, you obligated kindness has run out. And 3, she no longer can treat you however she wants. Her repeated dismissal of your feelings and her obvious fake display of compassion aren't going to fly anymore. What you did marks the turning point. Why are you expected to act more adult-like and mature than your literal parent? Whenever someone says be the bigger person, what they really mean is make yourself uncomfortable for the comfort of others. I know Layla means well, but if you heeded her advice, it's going to end up saying the wrong message. Your egg donor needs to know that her abuse and neglect towards you stops now. And I think you did a pretty good job of starting to make her aware of that. You did nothing more than match her energy. She gets what she deserves and nothing more. Okay, one more final comment. You are about to be an adult. Not only exciting, but it sounds like things will get better for you since you can decide who to spend your time with. Sounds like your mom and stepsister are just attention seekers. I completely agree with that. Now, the OP does provide an update. Now let's get into this update. It says, Layla raised me on the importance of communication and always pushing me to talk about my problems so I could solve them. So I see where her comment about my behavior came from and I understand it. But I also give her my point of view, telling her that the situation my mother was explaining was too absurd and laughing is the only natural instinct that came to me. While my mother was talking at some point, I thought, is it a joke or some sort of bad prank? Is she making this all up? because her BS was absolutely ridiculous. Layla said she understood me, as many of you have told me. She just wanted to understand that there will be situations in life where I can't just laugh and hang up the phone, and she was just worried about my reaction. Anyways, we managed to clear the matter between us, and I'm happy. I also talked to my dad about the phone call he had with my mom. Apparently, my mom had an excuse for everything. She said that Kara just wanted to do a nice sisterly gesture on my big day, that she wanted to share her hobby, riding horses with me, and that she never thought my fish problem was a real problem, but just a whim, and the restaurant they had booked at made the best fish around. And the last one is a lie. And the last one is a lie because when I was little, I threw up a couple of times in front of my mom just because we went somewhere that snowed. I also talked to my dad about the phone call he had with my mom. Apparently, my mom had an excuse for everything. She said that Kara just wanted to do a nice sisterly gesture on my big day, that she wanted to share her hobby, riding horses, with me, and that she never thought my fish problem was a real problem. Just a whim, and the restaurant they had booked at made the best fish around. And that last one is a lie. Because when I was little, I threw up a couple of times in front of my mom just because we went somewhere that smells strongly of fish, so she knows very well it's a real issue for me. My dad retorted that nothing they had prepared had been done for me, that Kara had clearly planned a party for herself, and what kind of party was it for me if none of my important people were there? My mother didn't respond to this. She just started ranting that I was ungrateful and spoiled, so my father told her to go to hell and hung up the phone. After hearing this, I decided to follow another piece of advice you gave me and wrote a message to my mother. This time, I decided to be mature and wrote the message in the most polite way possible. I apologized for laughing, but what she was saying was too ridiculous, so it was the only possible reaction from my side. I reminded her that she never put any effort into building a relationship with me, that she doesn't know me at all and has never cared about getting to know me, and since the birthday party Kara organized only had things that Kara liked, they could enjoy it together with their family and friends. I also told her that her invitation to my pizza party was withdrawn, and she shouldn't bother showing up since she already made it clear with the last phone call where her priorities were, and now I was going to do it too. And she was absolutely not on my priority list. I already have Layla as a mother, and I can't be more happy than with her. I concluded by wishing her well with her new family and asked her not to contact me again. She read the message but didn't respond, and I'm fine with that. If she were to respond, I'm sure it would be just more complaints about me being ungrateful and spoiled. Because I know that talking to her is useless. She would not understand or pretend not to understand, but clarifying things once and for all has put an end to our situation. At least on my side, I sort of had a closure, and I thank you all for that. I probably would have given up and ended the contact with her after my 18th birthday without saying anything, but your comments helped me understand that a firm end was necessary. For those who have asked how my mom could throw me a surprise party when I wasn't with her, my dad asked her the same question, along with asking her how she could think he wouldn't throw me an 18th birthday. My dad took it personally. She said that they had planned for Robert to come get me the morning of my birthday, explain the situation to Dad and Layla, and then take me to Mom's house under some pretense. Honestly, I don't know how it would have worked. I would have flat out refused to go to my mother's if it wasn't our set days, no matter what excuse they would have made up. And most of all, I would never have left Layla and Dad to go to my mom's on my 18th birthday. It would have been one thing if my mother and I had a good relationship, but that was definitely not the case. In all of this, the only person I don't feel like blaming is Robert. We never had a close relationship, but he was always polite to me when we lived under the same roof. He even cleared out his study so I could have a permanent room in his house when I went to my mother's. We didn't develop any stepdaughter-stepfather bond, but he always tried to be kind to me, so I don't blame him for any of this. It's likely he really thinks the party is for me. We don't know each other well enough for him to know my taste unless my mother told him, which I highly doubt she did. Luckily, I didn't leave anything of mine at my mother's house either. All my things are here at my father's house permanently. Usually, I would pack my suitcase when I went to my mother's with the things I needed for those days and then bring them back when I went back to my father's. I never felt safe leaving anything to her house because Robert's family and Kara's friends came over often and I didn't want to leave anything of mine out in the open to strangers. Well, that's it for now. I hope my mom respects my wish to go no contact and doesn't bother me anymore after that. I'd also like to bring up the adoption conversation with Layla after the holidays. She seemed really happy when we first talked about it. Thanks again for everyone for your kind words and advice. Your insights have helped me better manage the situation. I can understand that I'm still a little immature, but I feel this experience has helped me grow a little bit more and see the issues from other points of view. All the best to you guys. Aww. Let's see what the commenter had to say about this update. Okay, first commenter says, you handled this situation with maturity and clarity, setting firm boundaries. Layla seems like an amazing support in your life. Wishing you the best moving forward. Another commenter says, well played, OP, and have a happy birthday. Another commenter says, please update when your stepmom officially adopts you. Is that still the plan? I just want to know how the day and experience goes and how happy you are. I'm happy for you already. Another commenter says, do you have any sort of relationship with your birth giver's family? And if so, what do they think about your birth giver's treatment of you? I think you handled the situation perfectly, far more maturely than your egg donor. Whoa. OP responds by saying, I don't really have much contact with my mother's family. They are just 3 people, my grandmother, my aunt, and my uncle. My uncle lives a few hours away from here with his family, and I've seen him very few times during the holidays I spent with my mother, and our interactions were very brief and distant. With my aunt and my grandmother, I only have a cordial relationship. We exchange holiday greetings by text. A few times they sent me gifts for my birthday, always money loaded onto my father's card, but that's it. Even the few times I've met them, we had casual conversations about how each other's lives were going, but nothing more. In fact, I haven't invited any of them to my 18th, and they haven't texted me anything since the drama with my mom happened, so I think they just don't care that much. Well, you know what, OP? I hope you can move forward, have your wonderful and happy life with Layla and your dad, and forget about your bio mom and stepsister at this point. You do you. And I'm happy that you have handled everything. It seems like everything is out in the open and is in the clear. What do you guys think of this Reddit story? I would love to hear about it in the comments section. And remember, if you like these types of stories, to continue to like and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later.